All right. Okay. Attempting to do something here that I haven't done before. Don't know if it's possible. Bear with me just 1 second. All right, guys. I'm attempting to do something here that I don't know if is possible, but I said in my mind it works. So let me see if it'll work live. So I'm going live on Facebook and YouTube at the same time. So if you're on both and you're on my channel, Facebook.com/band leadership or YouTube.com/band leadership, log on to both of those and tell me if it's working the way it's supposed to. It looks like it is, and I can only look at one camera, and I only have to look at one camera, and I can see both people. So forgive that setup. This is the first time I'm doing this, but to serve you guys, I'm putting myself outside of my comfort zone, trying new things, and if it all flops, then we'll figure it out later. Hey everybody, it's Dwayne Huff, Band Leadership Seminars, Band Leadership Online, and I wanted to go live and answer a student question that came in from a video I did last year when I was out in doing some band leadership events during the summer. And the gist of it, you'll see it in the notes here if you're looking at the notes or if you're watching the replay. I did a video called How to Balance Friendship and Leadership. And a question came in. I'm going to read it right here from my screen. It says, what should I do or what should you do if you really aren't friends with a lot of your peers in the band in this particular situation, and all of your extra time is spent with educational things like clubs that I have to go to, right? So balancing friendship and leadership, and what do I do if I'm not really friends with these peers, the people, when I've got other things going on? How do I balance friendship and relationship, right? So I'm sorry, how do I balance friendship and leadership? So let me answer that real quick. I took my glasses off because I don't particularly care for the way I look in my glasses. If you have a difference of opinion, drop it in the comments. Let me know that you like my glasses. Let me know which one you prefer. So if you drop a comment in here, or a thumbs up or a heart, whatever you do, I may put my glasses back on and see, just to make sure I don't miss anybody's questions. But let me address this the way that I shared it with this person. I don't know if it's a him or her. I didn't really dig into the channel that responded. And you can actually see on that video, I've linked to it in the comments, that original video, How Do You Balance Friendship and Leadership? So make sure you watch that video as well. But basically, here's what I said, and it comes from the premise of someone who's a mentor of mine in the leadership space. In fact, this guy is the #1 leadership authority in the entire world, 5 to 6 years running, according to some magazines that say that stuff. I think Inc. magazine was one of them. His name's John Maxwell. And if you're not familiar with Dr. John Maxwell's work, check it out. He's got a lot of great material. I think he's written over 86 books, probably going on about 90 books now on the topic of leadership. So he is the foremost authority in leadership from a general perspective, right? So basically, this is the way I answer. By the way, for those of you who don't know me or just stumbling across this, but my background is this. I was a 9-time student leader in the marching band from high school through college and in drum and bugle corps. And I was a 6-time drum major. So 2 times in high school, then a high school all-star band, then a drum and bugle corps, then 2 college bands. And collectively, I probably have more student leadership experience, not just in the band world, but in general, than most people do. And I don't say that to impress you, but to impress upon you. A lot of the things I'm going to share with you come from that experience. But more importantly, I went on a journey as a student leader. Trial and error. A lot of things worked, a lot of things didn't. I had some great mentors along the way. Early on in my band career, I had Dr. Tim Lotzenheiser, who's still a legend to this day. If you haven't had the chance to see Dr. Tim live or even watch some of his stuff via video or whatnot, please do that before he stops doing this. Hopefully that won't be anytime soon, but he's an amazing human being, educator, and leadership instructor. So at 15 years old, I got to go study with him for 2 or 3 years, summer-wise. And then I got to hang out with Dr. George Parks, founder of Drum Major Academy. Had some other phenomenal mentors, Tom Leslie from UNLV. I think Tom's still at it. Tom, if you're watching this, honor man. And another gentleman by the name of Johnny Johnson, who's an educator out in California. In fact, I'm going out to California this year to work with a band. He's right down the road, so I'm going to have to reconnect with him. He probably has no idea who I am, but the impact that he made on my life as a leader, right? And so throughout that, I went on a journey to figure out, how do we make student leadership better for student leaders, more consistent, more effective, more predictable. Because as student leaders, they're dealing with, or I was dealing with back then, a part of the brain that has not formed yet, that keeps us from being able to make proper decisions in some of the situations, like the question that just came up here. And I said, how do we make this better? So, from age 21 on, well, actually age 15 on, I'm studying this stuff, trying to understand this stuff. And I went on a journey for the rest of that time up until now, trying to figure out how to make it better. And for the past 7 years, I've gone out consistent, actually since 2006, I've gone out consistently and helped student leaders develop and be better. So to answer this question, what do I do if they really aren't my friends and I have other things going on, clubs and organizations and educational stuff that I have to be a part of, and I really don't have time, right? And so in the spirit of what John Maxwell taught me, he said this, he said, there's no such thing as a lazy connector. Now, I'm not trying to be mean to this person, and I'm not trying to be in your face, but that's the reality of the situation. If you're going to be an effective leader, you have to make connecting with and building a relationship with your peers that you're going to lead, you have to make it not a priority. You have to make it the priority, because leadership is not a seasonal thing. It's year round. And if you're not consistent in your actions, in your attitude, in the initiative you take, in the relations you build, it erodes trust. People follow us for one of three reasons. They know us, they like us, or they trust us. Know, like, and trust. They know us, they like us, and they trust us. Now, they don't have to necessarily like us to feel like they know us or feel like they can trust us. So that one part of the equation. But it's nice if you can have all three. And the way that you can do that is simply by making connections with as many people in your band or your student organization as you possibly can. And if you're in other clubs, and this is the answer to this person, if you're in other clubs, then that gives you the opportunity to test your leadership and try your leadership abilities, not just in the band space, but anywhere that there are peers that you're working with. And if you're a band director watching this, please share this video with your students if you find this to be effective. If you like it, give it a thumbs up, a heart, share a comment. If you hate it, share a comment. It's still engagement, and it helps the channel reach more people. But basically this, there's no such thing as a lazy connector. So as leaders, balancing friendship with leadership, the first premise of this question is, well, what if I'm not friends with them all? And so the first task or the first priority needs to be to connect with these people and build friendships and relationships as best as you can, which means getting outside of your comfort zone and not asking them to come to you and be where you are in your space, in your comfort zone where you feel comfortable, but to say, you know what, I'm going to leave my comfort zone. I'm going to leave the place where I'm most comfortable, and I'm going to go out to them, and I'm going to make connections with them. And the way that I'm going to make connections with them is I'm not going to try to get them to like me. I'm not going to try to get them to be interested in me. I'm not going to get them to see how awesome I am, because it comes back to another saying that I love that says you can make more friends in 2 hours being genuinely interested in them than you can in 2 years trying to get them interested in you. So number one, there's no such thing as a lazy connector. Number two, the goal here is to show your interest in them. And when you leave your comfort zone and you go hang out with them, then you've stepped onto their turf. You've humbled yourself, and your number one goal and priority is to get to know who they are on every possible level that you can, which means being willing to humble yourself. And I used to hate that term, humble yourself, because I thought it was all about, well, now I'm going to act like I'm inferior, and now I'm going to submit myself to people who are better than me. That's not what it is at all. Sorry, I'm losing my words today. Humbling yourself simply means this. It doesn't mean that you think less about yourself. It means that you think about yourself less. So if you're going to leave your comfort zone, if you're going to make an effort to go and connect with people where they are, maybe it's going to hang out whenever they all go out to, have lunch or have pizza or go to a movie or go hang out somewhere. Maybe, and I'm not saying you go invite yourself, right? But maybe you're there. And as you're there, you reach out, you connect, you ask questions. And that's the whole thing. Whenever, I'll give you an example. Whenever I was a freshman drum major in my first college band, I ended up going to 2 colleges. Excuse me. The first thing that I should have, I didn't do this, but the first thing that I should have done, and I've learned to do it now, is anytime you're in an environment around people who aren't necessarily your friends, you're not connected to, or you don't know, or you don't have a relationship with, The very first thing you can do is humble yourself, think of yourself less, think of them, and show a genuine interest in what they're all about, who they are, what they like, what they do, where they spend their time, where they spend their effort, where they spend their money, what they complain about, what they love, what they're fascinated with. And if you can show up in their comfort zone and simply be someone who's genuinely interested, enthusiastic, and excited about learning about them and everything that's important to them, you're going to be amazed at how quickly people warm up to you. And literally, and I say this all the time, and I don't think a lot of people get it, not just students, but I think adults as well. If you show up in someone's world or in somebody's space and you're genuinely interested and humble, and you're just trying to get to learn about who they are, no hidden agenda, no ulterior motive, no secondary motivation. Well, I guess as a leader, there is a secondary motivation because you're trying to be effective as a leader with them. So you really have to understand and know who they are. But if you show up and Dwayne, okay, I show up, but what do? I'm scared to death. I don't know how to talk to these people. They don't know me. I don't know if they like me, right? Here's a little format, a little model that you can follow that will help you. Anytime you show up with a complete stranger or in a group of people where you may know a couple of people not that well and everybody else is a stranger, learn to ask good, effective questions that basically hand the ball of conversation over to those people and allow them the opportunity to talk to you or to open up. Now, imagine this for a second. You walk in, group full of strangers, you ask somebody a question, and it allows them to open up in a very comfortable way and share not just with you, but with everyone around them. You know, and so like if you showed up to a particular place where they hang out, one of the questions you could ask is, hey guys, this seems pretty cool, pretty awesome. How'd you guys get involved in this? And just sit back and listen. Don't talk. Don't say anything. Don't be in a hurry to jump in and say, oh yeah, me too, I did this. And I am guilty of that one, right? And that's a quick way to kill conversation, but rather hand the ball over to them. And here's a little format or a little guideline that you can use. It's an acronym, FORM. F stands for family. Maybe you're in a situation where they're talking about their siblings, their family, or some way they start talking about their background, right? So they start talking about their family. Occupation would be something we talked about as adults, but I would say, what is it besides band that they're into? This particular student said he was involved or she was involved in other clubs. That's a great conversation to have with your peers. Hey, besides band, what do you guys do? What are you involved in? What do you like? I'm looking to get involved in some other things. What do you do? Hand the ball of conversation over to them. Take your hands off of it and just listen. So O stands for occupation or other things that they're involved in, if you will. So family, other things. R stands for recreation. Hey, what do you guys do for fun when you're not in band? You know, maybe you share some of the things that you like. I'm into sports, or I'm into art, or I'm into this, that, and the other. But more importantly, just ask them, hey, what do you guys do outside of band that's fun? And just listen, right? And then finally, the last one is message. Now, that simply means that you can share a little bit about yourself in the area of family, other things that you love to do outside of band, things that you love to do for fun. So if you're ever stumped, don't know how to start conversations, don't like to go into a group of strangers. And I would imagine that this student who submitted this question said, hey, look, I'm busy. I'm not really friends with these people. How do I connect with them? How do I balance that friendship and relationship? I got other things going on and I'm not really friends with them. And I think the reason, and I'm just going back to whenever I was a student, right? And it's kind of different for me, an exception for me, because I was a really outgoing person, never met a stranger, but there were situations I get into and I was very uncomfortable. Like, for example, during lunch, you know, everybody would go hang out in what we call the common area. And I had friends in band who were a little more social than I. And I was never one who was going to compete to be a part of the popular group. And I saw a meme just yesterday that I absolutely loved. And it said, better to be a lonely lion than a popular sheep. Better to be a lonely lion than a popular sheep. And some of you get that right away. And some of you are like, what does he mean? Right. And you can balance those two. But for me, I was uncomfortable in those situations, so I would avoid them. I'd go hang out in the band room, right? And maybe some of you do that, right? But the call to leadership is to be a connector, of people, to be a relationship builder, to be a servant of all. And so this person who says, I'm too busy, I don't have time, they're not really my friends. To me, you're avoiding and you're hiding. Excuse me. And I know it's uncomfortable. I'm not picking on you, but what I'm saying is try it. Step outside of your comfort zone. Leave where you are. Go to where they are. Ask questions. Be quiet. Humble yourself and listen. Now watch this. Whenever you do that and you give somebody else the ability to speak, to open up, to share, to be the center of attention, and you let go of the fact that you need to be the center of attention, what's going to happen is this. They're going to open up. They're going to share. They're going to talk. They're going to give. They're going to tell you everything you need to know about them, what they care about, what worries them, what they're scared of, what they love, what they like, what they're passionate about, what they do outside of band. And even if you weren't to say anything else and you would hang out with them for the rest of the day, but you facilitated a conversation that allowed them to open up, number one, you're going to learn a lot about those people. But number two, here's the instant reward that comes right back to you. When you leave that particular situation, you're going to walk away with some people who know you better, who like you better, who trust you better, simply because you gave them the opportunity to be the center of attention, open up, and share. Now, you don't want to go into a particular situation peppering people with questions. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is if you will ask a simple question, hey guys, this seems like a lot of fun. How'd you get involved in it? And just let them talk and open up. Or you say something like, hey, this is really cool. What else do you guys do for fun? And they tell and they share. Or you get an organic conversation with somebody just based on the situation. You say, tell me more about that. That seems fascinating. And your ability to simply listen and not say anything, or at least say too much. Obviously, if they ask you a question, you want to respond. But here's the premise. Whenever you walk away from that situation, that environment, whatever it was, whenever you walk away from those people, when you walk away, they're going to think to themselves, because you asked them the question and got them to open up and share and share who they were, they're going to think you're the most brilliant person in the world. And their like factor for you is going to go up. Their trust factor for you is going to go up, right? Because they look at you as someone who is genuinely interested in them, and you can't fake that, right? So number one, step outside your comfort zone, go to where they are. Number two, be genuinely interested with no ulterior motive to get to connect and learn and become a part of these people's lives. If you're not friends with them yet, do your best to be friendly to them. And if they want to hang out with you, great. If they don't, no big deal. But at the end of the day, they'll feel like they know you or like you or maybe even trust you a little bit more. And so whenever you go to lead them in the course of your rehearsals, your show, every part of your band aspect, whether that's marching band, jazz band, concert band, orchestra, choir, whatever the case might be, you're going to find that because you invested in that relationship, because you stepped outside of your comfort zone, because you connected with them and showed a genuine interest, and you weren't one who was trying to monopolize the conversation, but you genuinely wanted to help them, you're going to see your leadership be much more effective moving forward. But you have to be consistent with that. So I hope that serves and helps. For any of you watching this live or on the replay, drop your comment below if you have any questions. I'll circle back and answer it. Hopefully this served the person who asked that question. You just got to be a connector, an intentional connector. You got to be genuinely interested in those people. And when you do, you'll find that more of those people start to warm up to you. And all of a sudden, you'll see that making them a priority will balance out with everything else that you have going on. But it starts with you making an investment in them. Now, as I shoot this, we're at the beginning of 2019. I hope your year is off to a great start. And I know we start to ramp up and prepare for interviews and auditions for student leaders coming up in the spring. So if you'd like some help with that, I'd be honored to help you with that. I've created a resource that I think would serve you if you're a band director or even a student. And up until now, it's not been available. I've not made it available except for a few people who have inquired about it. What I've done is I put together something called the Student Leadership QuickStarter Kit. And so what I did is I took my online course, which sells for $497 every year, and I pulled 2 very important videos out of that, and I created a student leadership assessment, and I put it together in one specific kit. Now, like I said, the online course generally sells for $497. This you can get access to for only 27 bucks, and it's called the Student Leadership QuickStarter Kit. And the first video is called "What is Leadership?" and it's about a 30-minute video. The second video is called "Why is Leadership Important?" and it's the second video. And then the assessment is just a series of questions on a PDF that's going to help you to gear and understand what's important about leadership, where your strengths are, and if leadership is a good fit for you. So if you don't have a leadership position right now and you're thinking about becoming a leader, or if you're a leader right now and you want to become a more effective leader, this will serve you. You can get it at my website, and I'll drop it in the comments after I'm finished here, or somebody can drop it in the comments for me. bandleadershipseminars.com/BLOL, which stands for Band Leadership Online. bandleadership.com/BLOL. And if you scroll down, you'll see it says new resource, and it's the Student Leadership Quick Starter Kit or something of that nature. It's 27 bucks. That's a one-time purchase, and you have access to it for the rest of your life. So if you're really looking to ramp up your leadership, or if you want to make sure leadership is a good fit for you before you dive in, I wish somebody would have told me before I dove in, check that out, 27 bucks. And if you check it out and it's like, I don't like this and this, I'll give you money back. I'm not trying to take your money, but this is a resource that has served for the last 2 years for the student, for the band directors who've gotten it. They currently use it as a way of auditioning, interviewing, and vetting their leaders. So you do good to have your hands on that. So until we talk next time, remember, you can inspire superior performance. You just got to be willing to humble yourself, not thinking less of yourself, but thinking of yourself less, going out and connecting with as many people in your band as you possibly can, building that trust, that sincerity, that like, and really understanding who they are. So you know what drives, you know what motivates them, and you can open the doors to help them get that or get more of that, and ultimately making you a leader that people want to follow on their own will, as opposed to you having to demand their followership. So I hope that served. Drop your comments. Let me know. Share this with another student leader that you believe it would serve, and also share it with your band director. If you have not subscribed to the Band Leadership page, the YouTube page, please do that. If you haven't liked the Facebook page /Band Leadership, like that, so every time I go live, you will actually see it. So good luck in this coming year. If there's anything I can do to serve and help, please don't hesitate to reach out. Drop a comment, because that's where this video came from. I'm answering a question from another student, and if there's anything else you would like to know, or if you're a band director and there's anything else you would like to know or like your students to know, please don't hesitate to reach out. Until we talk again, thanks for hanging in here with me as I went live on YouTube and Facebook simultaneously. It looks like it worked out. I'm looking at my 2 screens here, but I only have to look at one camera, so that's really cool. Let me know what you think, and we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.